66.11% Flutter Mane usage. What? Bruh, welcome to Reg C.
Welcome to Reg C.
Wow.
Hello and welcome to Pokésports, a competitive Pokemon podcast. I'm Mike and I play with 66.11 Flutter Manes on the field.
I'm Kevin. Fissure.
Oh no, there they go. All the Flutter Manes.
They're all gone.
They're gone. What have you done? Welcome to Pokésports, it's a competitive Pokemon podcast. We do lots of competitive Pokemon stuff here. We're talking all about VGC these days, but there are times where we get into Smogon. There are times where we get into Pokemon Unite, depending on what the season calls for. Kevin, I've been meaning to, and I say this 3 times a year, I've been meaning to get back into singles because I think that the Pokemon community, our Pokemon community, is direly missing some of that sweet singles action.
Okay.
That sounds terrible. But there we go.
What's it like nowadays? That's a place to use Walking Wake.
That's right.
Walking thing.
See, we know it if we were able to play it.
Iron leaves, but where does it go?
Iron leaves, but where does it go? Well, I can tell you right now that Great Tusk is actually on more than half of the teams.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
I think that's because Flutter Mane is banned, though.
Yes.
Is that a banned one? It sounds like it would be.
I believe it is. And that's the thing I don't know because I haven't been playing this. Yes, that is banned right now, but mostly because Great Tusk also has Donphan stuff. So like it's got Rapid Spin, it's got Knockoff, it's got Earthquake. Those are all super common moves on a good Pokemon. And then Headlong Rush is of course there because it's Headlong Rush.
Hey man, I'll tell you what. I mean, doubles is slowly evolving into singles. Like a lot of VGC players learned what Toxic Spikes were this generation. Oh, yeah. And now it's like, now setting Toxic Spikes is actually just a thing that we do sometimes.
Well, you remember how back over in singles where Spikes and Toxic Spikes and all that were all over the place. Turns out actually Glimora, because of that, is on 20% of teams in singles. It's in the top 10.
Makes sense to me.
Totally understandable because it also gets Stealth Rock. Imagine a Pokemon where you can set up Stealth Rock and Toxic Spikes on the exact same turn.
Now, what I'm super surprised by is that, I mean, I guess we're going right into it.
Yeah.
Currently in Reg C, Glimora is actually 20% of teams too.
Whoa.
I didn't expect that. But I think in Reg C, what Glimoras are doing is a little different because it uses Mortal Spin, right? Mm-hmm. So with Mortal Spin, it hits everything on your opponent's side of the field and poisons everything on your opponent's side of the field. And since it's a contact move and since it also does damage,
yeah,
it bypasses things like taunt. So you can poison things while bypassing taunt. And it also gets corrosion, which goes through steel types.
Corrosion goes through steel, but I'm looking on Picolytics, that's only 10%.
Yeah.
People are starting to get into it looks like, but you really want to poison those golden goes. You can't actually. Even if you go through steel, you can't go through good as gold. Wow.
It also allows you to go Assault Vest and run Mortal Spin and Veto Shock at the same time because again, it's a damage dealing move.
Yeah, I'm also seeing Sludge Bomb, Earth Power, Spiky. Spiky Shield is the bane of my existence. I don't like Spiky Shield.
There's a Glimora. Don't touch it.
Don't touch it. Yeah, don't touch the Glimora. That thing's weird.
It's gross.
It's gross.
We got like a lot more things to talk about than usual today, I feel.
Well,
like, typically we have like 3 topics and we stretch it out through tangents, but we actually have a list.
It happens. Last week on Wednesday, when we dropped that podcast, that exact same morning, there was like a short list of interesting stuff that came out from the Pokemon Company. One of which being the Global Championship, which is this weekend, April 7th to 9th.
This weekend.
Hold on. No, I can tell you exactly. Yes, April 7th to 9th. This is an online competition. So if you're sitting at home and you want to go and play some Regulation C against the Japanese and everyone else in the world, then you absolutely can. And if you win, if you get to number 1 among all of those people in the whole world, which I'm super interested to see who gets that, you will receive 160 CP. That's
Wild.
half of a world's invite. Remember,
that is
a world's
so much.
invite is what, 300?
Yes. For our region. It depends on the region.
That's fair.
But yeah, that's a ridiculous amount of CP. That's a lot more. Like, let me remind you that for Players Cup, I've gotten to the, top 250. What was it? Top 250 in your region is what you needed for Players Cup. I got 2 CP for that.
Yeah. They're
Now
giving
it's
out more
160
CP this time, though.
Now, here's the one thing, though.
Yeah.
Players Cup was per region. So, like, you can be top 1,000 worldwide, but still be top 250 in your region. They don't mention whether this CP payout is per region or not. Because if it's per region, I think I could do it.
Interesting. TCPI regions in North America, Europe, Latin America, Oceania, Middle East, and South Africa, and Russia. This online competition rewards championship points as per the following table. So it looks like it's, I might be wrong about this, but it reads like it's per region.
I really hope so, because I think worldwide I might not be able to get, 128 get CP?
No. Actually, a lot of people up until 1024 get CP. It's just you get 5 CP from like 513th to 1024.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. 10 CP for 257th and up.
Oh, this is CP farming. If you don't sign up for this, you're stupid. Sign up for this, guys. What the heck? Make sure you play
a couple of games.
Yeah, make sure your Play Pokemon account is linked. And if you don't care about CP, you get a free book bag in game.
Well, there you go.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely do that. Also, you get 10,000 league points. If that makes any sense to anybody, or if that actually makes any
I've
makes any
maxed that out a
people.
long time ago.
You can max it out?
I think I'm at 999999999.
What? I didn't know that.
I play a lot of Battle Stadium.
So do I. That's so strange. I haven't actually checked. But yeah, that's the global competition, and I'm excited. I'm going to do it. I'm going to play in it. I need to make sure that I have a team ready by then, but I will.
What are you liking so far in Regulation C? Because I guess I'll talk about what I've been playing a little bit. I've been playing. I always find my way back to Trick Room. It's just something about Trick Room this generation I love. I'm not doing Indeedee Armor Rouge, but I am doing Indeedee Hat. I'm doing Indeedee Hat with a Torkoal and a Chi-Yu on that team.
Oh, cool.
So I'm running like min speed Chi-Yu and using that next to Torkoal in Sun with Fire Terra and Specs to just do 1 billion damage. I'm also running a Tyranitar. I feel like Tyranitar is super good into these ruinous Pokemon entering the game. Specifically because you can Flying Terra and avoid Fissures. You could also Flying Terra and avoid Annihilate. You can go for Crunch on Annihilate. You have Terra Flying. And, you're just a Dark type that has 1 billion special defense because you're also a Rock type in Sand.
I'm really, really, really liking Annihilate right now. I just think it is such a good Pokemon that its kit works so well. You can switch it into normal types. The fighting and ghost type is already amazing.
I might have a team for you.
Ooh, I can't wait.
And
then you can just Terra. And then you just Terra. And whatever you Terra it to, it is good.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Scary Monkey.
But right now, that wasn't the only news that came out on the Wednesday, making us look bad. Also, what was it? Oh, no. There was
Premier Challenges are coming back in May.
Premier Challenges are coming back in May.
Locals
are finally back. It's been way too long since we've gone to a local competition. Actually, kind of. Well, one that's officially sanctioned by Pokemon. Yeah.
But we didn't get CP for them. Now we get CP for them as long as we have a judge that's willing to sponsor it.
Right.
Which, hey, fun. That's good.
And they do. And the judges want to. And I think for a while now, these judges have been wanting to run these kind of tournaments, and they haven't really been allowed to. So you've seen a lot from like content creators, right? Wolf opens up a gym in the middle of New York. Joe had a local
UX9,
tournament.
yeah.
That's right. There's another one coming up that we're going to talk about in another week in New Jersey. So it's like
they exist.
They want to be there.
I'm excited. Locals is always a good opportunity because like going to regionals, me and Mike have said this multiple times on the podcast. Pokemon is a very expensive hobby. Mm-hmm. So going to regionals and playing competitively, you know, most of the time you got to take a plane. Most of the time you got to rent a hotel. Most of the time you got to, you know, pay a ticket that costs $70 nowadays.
Yeah.
So going to a local, having like a $10 entry fee and still being able to come out with CP is pretty nice. It's not bad. Now, there is something worth mentioning. There is actually a cap on the amount of CP that can count towards Worlds. So heads up, if you're only planning on going to locals, you will not have enough CP to go to Worlds. I think it caps out at it's either 160 or 120 is the maximum for Premier Challenge points that you could have for your
still
Worlds
a solid chunk though.
Yeah,
it's a very solid chunk. I would not. I would think that if you are good enough to gather 120 CP in your local area, you're probably good enough to gather the rest of the CP if you're going around. But if you're talking where it's just focused on the financial and you're not able to go to those other things, that might be a little bit of a problem, but it's always going to be a problem anyway, because you then have to go to Worlds. You have to go halfway across the world to compete. And that is going to cost some money.
I think the only real reason they have that rule in place is that people that live in the middle of nowhere that only have 4 people attend the regionals and get CP just by showing up can't just farm that out and go to Worlds. Makes sense. I get it. You're taking a spot from someone that kind of deserved it more than you.
Plus, if you're going to be hosting your tournament in an area, you kind of have to have a community of people who do not mind spending money on a plane ticket. Because like then you're just going to get a lot of dropouts from people who are all doing just local and then trying to fly to Japan. It's like that's
I qualified for Worlds. I can't afford a ticket to Japan because not everyone can. Yeah.
So who knows? Would be really cool to see more local talent and like people there supporting their local talent. I know that Georgia VGC is huge on that kind of thing, supporting their own local talent, and a lot of them are very talented.
Oh yeah, good players, good people.
Yeah. If you yourself are a part of, you the listener, are part of any local things that you go to, please do let us know. Hijack the question and answer segment over on Spotify and just answer to that. The question will be different, but you can go ahead and answer whatever you want there.
You can actually say whatever you want in that space,
It
technically.
turns out, yeah. Honestly, that one at that point, I like what Anchor's doing now because it makes me screen all of the questions, right? So it'll be like, hey, this is what this person says. Do you want to publish it? So if you write whatever you want, I will read it. I just probably won't publish it to the public. And that's okay. Because it's basically like you're writing into the podcast. We finally have an easy way for people to write into the podcast.
Speaking of which, what was your question last week? Was it lazy or was it a good one?
It was a good one. They're always good ones.
I don't know, man. Wait. What episode? Hold on. What Pokemon are we on right now?
159.
Let's do this. We're on 159.
159 was last week. This week we're on 160. This is where it actually gets tough.
What's Pokemon 160?
So that's after the 3 starters, right?
Is it?
No.
151.
Oh, this is
151 is Mew.
Yeah. So it's 152.
3,
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're on the middle evolution of the third one.
Oh, so that's water. Water.
Oh, is it?
Croconaw.
Okay. Yeah. Croconaw.
Grass, fire, water.
Pokemon 159. Yeah, Croconaw. There you go.
Hey, our guy.
And so that means that today, Pokemon 16 or Pokésports 160 is the Feraligatr episode.
Hey, we did it.
Yeah, let's see if anybody here said Feraligatr.
Let's see if we can guess next week.
Yeah, exactly.
Now that the starters are out of the way,
I'm not going to look. I'm not going to look. I'm going to try.
It's probably Sentret.
Oh, yeah, actually, yeah.
It's probably Sentret, Spinarak, Hoot Hoot, something early.
Can't be Spinarak. We'll find out next week. Some people have already looked it up. Some people are going to live with this anxiety until next week.
Next year.
Sudden hiatus. We're gone.
We're doing great, guys. Bye.
Pokemonic 100 said superior, favorite starter, and I guess you can pretend Terra.
Wait, what was the question?
Hidden power. Oh, right. Yeah, that'll do it. The question was, on that note, which starter Pokemon would you most want to come to Scarlet and Violet, and why?
Okay.
Yeah. Because we've got a lot of starters coming to Scarlet Violet, right? We've got Samurott and Decidueye, Cinderace, Greninja, Charizard. I think I actually named them all. Amazing. But yeah, I'm curious what other Pokemon can come to the game. And so, yeah, again, Pokemonic 100 said superior, favorite starter, and I guess you can pretend Terra Blast is hidden power, right? Because superior used to be the big hidden power user.
That's a fair point. And superior with contrary is kind of scary. You could do Leaf Storms and stuff.
That's right.
Grass Terra Leaf Storm, boom.
Grass Terra Leaf Storm. Let's see. Luke says Typhleezy, the home dog.
Typhleezy. Good news. He'll be here soon, probably.
Yeah, probably. I can only imagine that that's coming next, right? They did Decidueye, they did Samurott. It's got to be Typhlosion.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a while since we got a fire one, too. I think Cinderace was in January. It makes sense.
Charizard was like a month before.
Back to back.
Yeah. They did really do just 2 in a row, huh? Anyway, Fantan says Score Bunny because I like it. Thumbs up emoji. Yeah.
It's been here.
It's been
I guess he wants to play with it.
Yeah. Well, he was very excited for it to come back. Oh, Jetpack the 67th. Okay, says, I want Hisuian Decidueye to come into Paldea since it's my favorite Pokemon. It's not that good, unfortunately, but it's got a great signature fighting type move with Scrappy, so it might be usable. What's Hisuian Decidueye's special attack? Or
special attack? Physical attack?
Physical. No, signature attack. Excuse me.
Oh, beats me.
Okay, we're going to find that out right now.
1,000 storms. 1,000.
A lot of kicks.
Big punchies.
So Decidueye here. Signature move. Oh man, they don't make it easy. Triple arrows.
What does that do?
That inflicts damage. For 3 turns, it increases the user's critical hit ratio by 2 stages and decreases the target's defensive stats. In Generation 9, Triple Arrow's PP was decreased to 10, its power was increased to 90, and it now has an increased critical hit ratio. It has a 50% chance of lowering the target's defense by 1 stage and a 30% chance of causing the target to flinch.
Wait, that's too many things.
That's a lot of things.
Why is that so many things?
Wait, but that's
good.
That's very good.
I don't think this will be bad. You can hit Golden Goes with this. Remember Scrappy? That's pretty good. Golden Go can't hide behind a ghost type anymore.
Yeah, the problem is that Hisuian.
Oh, wow.
Hisuian's speed is 60.
Trick Room, though. So is T-Tar.
Trick Room, though, yeah.
So is T-Tar. We'll be fine.
It's got pretty decent stats.
Is it like
special attack is way too high?
It's trying to be a mixed attacker when it's not. I feel that.
Attack 112, special attack 95. Yeah.
It's got the same problem that actual Decidueye has.
Yes. Attack 107 and special attack 100. Wow.
Raise the chance of this to land critical hits. That's crazy.
So it can be a big
that with
crit
like a scope lens. You can run that with a scope lens and get 100% accuracy crits after 1 attack. While dealing damage and lowering their defense.
Sure. Could do that, I suppose. I would say that Hisuian is going to be okay. You can tell that I'm not trying to say that.
It's
right?
Hisuian. We got Heflosion and Samurott.
Yeah.
Samurott-sui.
Samurott. His Arcanine is fun. What else here? Jetpack the 67th said about Decidueye. Yes. Joe says Venusaur is just my favorite. Also, grass minus Terra grass Terra equals so many flowers. Yeah.
Oh, you can do Weather Ball Fire Terra with Venusaur. That'll be fun. Fire Terra Weather Ball in the sun.
Mm-hmm.
That's a thought.
That's a thought. Lissy says, I want Blaziken. It's my favorite starter, though I've been playing since the original Red. I love the challenge of playing competitively with my favorite Pokemon rather than the metas. You get used to the meta, and that's why you love the things that you're missing.
Blaziken really got screwed over by power creep.
Definitely.
Like, I'm looking at Blaziken stats. They're not bad, but there's just better. But It's cool. Like, Speed Boost is a great thing to have, right? It's not a bad ability at all. Problem with Blaziken is that it's base 530 total, that has base 110 special attack for no reason.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people out here saying Rillaboom. A lot of people saying Venusaur. There's a Feraligatr. The Emperor 119 says, I'd love to have Feraligatr back so I can abuse Sheer Force Life Orb, even though I know Flutter will KO me before I can do anything. Not if you Terra Fire.
Not if you quash the Flutter.
Not if you quash the Flutter.
Sheer Force Life Orb. That's legit. It's a lot of damage. A lot of these early starters really got screwed over by power creep. Poor guys. But the Gen 1 starters didn't. I mean, I guess Blastoise did. But, Venusaur and Charizard still hold up today, which is wild.
Yeah, Blastoise really fell off.
Poor Blastoise.
I really want to see Superior come back. Because I think it could be good. Gen 5, it was everywhere. In singles, at least.
So is that who you're choosing? Because I didn't get to choose.
I'm going to choose Superior.
I'm going to choose Infernape. I think Infernape will be a great old time. I need another monkey in my life. I want a full monkey team. It'll be a fun time.
So Infernape has Blaze and Iron Fist, which in my opinion are two relatively useless abilities.
It's pretty much just Iron Fist that it uses. Does that boost close combat? It sounds like it should.
But no, I think it's any of the punches.
I always just remember this Pokemon being a good Pokemon. I could have been wrong.
Close combat is not affected.
Oh, sad. Mach Punch.
It really is just like punches, arms, and I think there's a bash and an uppercut.
Okay, I'm going to change my answer. Can I change my answer?
Change your answer.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, it's really got equal attack and special attack too, Infernape.
And these starters really got screwed over by these stats.
I feel like they just need a little bit of an update. Just like beef them up a little bit.
I know what my answer is. You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
You ready?
No.
Incineroar! Yeah.
You won't.
I
You're about to incite the wrath of the YouTube comment section.
Incineroar, we need Incineroar right now. But at the same time, we don't need Incineroar right now. Okay, here's the thing. We need Incineroar right now, but we don't need a Water Terra Incineroar right now, because when we get a Water Terra Incineroar, it's over.
What are they going to do? They're going to give us Incineroar and then not give it the ability to Terra Water?
Listen, my friend, hear me out. We're currently in a meta where Gyarados is 15% usage because we need a water type that has Intimidate.
You're right.
Water Cineroar is going to pop off.
Wincineroar. That's what people will call it, is Wincineroar. Oh, that's gross. I want to look real quick at the VGC 2023 Regulation C Showdown stats, because I think going through at least the top 10 will very much inform our talk on Charlotte.
You'll know what's going on
right after.
People did not take risks at Charlotte.
No,
not Charlotte. Fort Wayne.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let's just get into that. So Regulation C started as of a couple of days ago. April 1st, it was officially dropped, but Showdown has been playing with it for a long time. So if you go on the ladder, you're much more likely to see the same flavor of teams kind of bumping around because people have been already, experimenting with stuff for about a month now. If we look at the top 10 Pokemon used, let's go actually down to number 10 first. That is Glimora, like we said at the beginning, at 20%. We don't actually need to get into that. Above that is not Talonflame, Palafin. Palindrome. Yeah. Palindrome.
Palafriend.
Yeah, Palafin is number 9 with the most predictable moveset that I've ever seen. Do you want to guess what that moveset is real quick?
Probably Jet Punch, Wave Crash, Protect, and Haze.
You're exactly right. and the difference between that and everything else is so high. Haze is the fourth most common move on Palafin, and that's sitting at 84%. Close combat underneath that, it's fifth most common, sits at 8.
And those are just the people that don't know what Haze does.
And that's just the people who don't understand what Haze is. Yes.
I mean, Palafin, I think people just, it's done. We get it. We know what it does. That's what it does. It's over. We've perfected that Pokemon. There's no experiment left to be had.
Yeah. Everybody thought that maybe Flip Turn was usable for a little bit, and they experimented with it. Nah, just flip it into something that can take a hit, just and leave. You're good. Just
specifically Amoonguss. Flip it into Amoonguss. Problem solved.
And to that point, its top teammate is, in fact, Amoonguss. They just
it's almost like I play this game.
Palafin is water style All Might. Like, that is it. You just slap a Mystic Water on it. You put a Terra Water on it. This Palafin knows what it wants, and it wants to do water damage.
And now it introduces you to its new friend, Leopard Ice Kitty.
Exactly.
Do
big
more
friend.
damage.
However, funny enough, Chimpao is in the top 10. Iron Bundle is number 8.
Okay, when you don't have one water type, you have the other, is what that tells me.
Water types are going wild this generation. Iron Bundle with Freeze Dry, Protect, Icy Wind, and Hydro Pump. Very, very little amount of people running Encore right now with Iron Bundle. I find that it's just hard to use.
It's situational, but I mean, so is hitting a Hydro Pump.
Yeah.
So I kind of get it.
Interestingly, 84% of people using Booster Energy on Iron Bundle. Not very many people at all using Focus Sash.
I think the reason for that is the introduction of Chien-Pao kind of claims that Focus Sash. It's really hard to have an Ice and Dark type that doesn't have a Focus Sash because that type combination sucks defensively.
Right.
So Chien-Pao kind of just took over the Sash. It's his now. Nothing else can get it if you're on the same team as Chien-Pao.
Top partner is Flutter Mane, but a very close second to that is actually Chi-Yu. And
that's actually a core.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Those
Iron Bundle, Chi-Yu, and Flutter Mane. You can often just run Iron Bundle and Flutter Mane out as a lead and just win the game right from there. If your opponent doesn't have anything for it, it's just a quick Icy Wind, Dazzling Gleam, or a Freeze Dry, Moonblast, and it's over.
You want to talk about hyper offensive? Those three are the definition of hyper offense.
That's it. Exactly. Or even better, if you send out Flutter Mane and Iron Bundle and you notice that, like, oh, this is a Pokemon that doesn't want to take Ice, but really wants to take Fairy, then you just swap the Iron Bundle out for Chi-Yu and you win the game that way. Like,
there's always a way to win.
Yeah. Number 7 is Arcanine. Still, surprisingly. Yes, we have Gyarados sitting at 13 as an Intimidate user, but this Intimidate user is the more often chosen one.
Yeah, when it comes to Arcanine and Gyarados, I think Arcanine does have more utility than Gyarados, but Gyarados has the added benefit of just being better into the new ruinous Pokemon. Arcanine doesn't appreciate a Ting-Lu, for example. But the thing with Arcanine that just makes Arcanine so sticky is that there just isn't another Pokemon currently that does what Arcanine does. We get close with Gyarados, but it's until we see Incineroar, Arcanine's not going anywhere.
They really did just make better Arcanine when they made Incineroar.
Yeah, exactly.
Flare Blitz, Protect, Will-O-Wisp, Extreme Speed, as you would expect. Snarl.
Extreme Speed's the other thing because you can run that next to Chien-Pao also.
Correct.
As a secondary Dragoniter.
Snarl has gone way down in usage, though, down to 27%. Just not being used as much anymore. Why bother nerf the Pokemon on the other side of the field? They're going to blow you up before you get the chance to anyway.
Ting-Lu gets a free Snarl by existing. That's the thing. It's okay, here.
Exactly. Mostly paired with Flutter Mane. Chien-Pao is number 6, one of the new Ruinous Legends. Ice Spinner, Protect, Sucker Punch, and Sacred Sword are the moves to use. right now. However, I have been seeing a lot of Tingloos with, not Tingloos, Chien-Paos with Haze to kind of replace the need for a Palafin.
Yeah.
But this thing, yeah,
this thing's pretty darn good. We mentioned earlier that it has Focus Sash. Another thing worth mentioning is that they gave this thing base 135 speed. It's the exact same speed as Flutter Mane. It's the exact same speed as Chi-Yu. It's the exact same speed as both Koraidon, Miraidon. They are just making us fight these speed ties, man. It literally forces us to be put in situations where Flutter Mane went from having a defensive build to kind of adopting the old specs and just do a bajillion damage build, go max speed and hurt you because Chien-Pao. Like if you sacrifice any speed, Chien-Pao will take over and hit you with an Ice Spinner.
Yeah.
Does a lot of damage, has Sacred Sword, great against Dondozo too, or anything that raises their stats. You just Sacred Sword them, ignore those stats entirely.
The downside is that it's sitting at tiny, tiny defense stats. So you absolutely need to be running a Focus Sash on this. I've seen a few with a Life Orb, but honestly, for me, the way that I play, which
it's a
is
little
just
greedy,
spaghetti at the wall, Focus Sash needs to be there. Mostly paired with Dragonite, and that's because of, again, Series 0, before everybody started even playing any of the regulations. Dragonite Terra Normal Extreme Speed with a Chien-Pao Sword of Ruin. It just does too much.
And this is another reason why Psyspam is having such a hard time in Regulation C, is because before Dragonite would have to have a move slot for the Ice Spinner in order to crack the terrain. Now Dragonite doesn't need to rely on having Ice Spinner as a move. Chien-Pao can have Ice Spinner as like its primary damage dealing stab move, right? It's its best ice move. So you have the Chien-Pao next to the Dragonite. Dragonite can just have Outrage with Choice Band and do a billion damage that way. It doesn't need to have the Ice Spinner there.
And that is what most people are doing. They're running Choice Band on Dragonite, Outrage, Ice Spinner, Terra Blast, Extreme Speed. But this is one of the first ones, because of what Kevin's saying, where the third and fourth move are rather interchangeable because you can use Chien-Pao with Ice Spinner. Ice Spinner can become Low Kick, can become Stomping Tantrum, can become, Aqua Jet.
They gave this Pokemon way too many moves.
They gave Dragonite everything.
134 attack. I didn't realize how much attack Dragonite had for a Gen 1 Mon. What the heck? 134.
We're very quickly finding like the upper limit of what Pokemon considers good right now. And that number is pretty much 135.
Yeah, around there. Yeah. That is a good stat to have.
If you have any stats of 135, you're pretty good. That brings us to number 4, which you think that 135. How about 155 in HP? That's Tinglu. Tinglu has so much HP, so much defense, so much special. Well, okay amount of special defense, but you can run an assault vest with it. Yeah.
No, it gets a special defense through its ability.
Oh, that's true too.
No, that special defense is not 80. It's 80 times like what, 1.25?
Yeah. And then with Assault Vest, it gets even more. So this thing takes a punch. Usually running Heavy Slam, Stomping Tantrum, Ruination, and Fissure. And by the way, in all of these other invisible stats, they gave it a very heavy build because they put a bird bath on its head. Like, that's gonna be heavy.
If you guys
gonna be heavy.
We're gonna talk about Fort Wayne later on in the podcast, but if you guys didn't see Fort Wayne Regionals and see how many fissures connected, it's worth mentioning that Fissure didn't win the whole thing, but the amount of fissures on the stream is making people be like, oh, okay, this is actually a competitive move, I guess.
Record number of fissures. And we're going to talk exactly about Tinglu. That's going to be our Pokemon of the week this week, usually paired with Flutter Mane and Amoonguss. Going on to Amoonguss.
The Amoonguss factor. Welcome to number 3, Amoonguss. We're back.
Welcome back. Exactly. It's the beginning of a new series. Welcome back to Michael's quarterly reminder that the Amoonguss factor is indeed a thing, where every new regulation, Amoonguss is tossed in because it's so defensive and so versatile. Amoonguss will go down in usage for May. It always does. Amoonguss sitting at 35% with Spore, Rage Powder, Pollen Puff, and Protect. If you have never seen this Amoonguss set before, I envy you.
You shouldn't
I want
be
to know what your
surprised.
life is like.
Those are the only four. Like Palafin, we figured out Amoonguss.
Yeah.
Amoonguss is done. We did it.
Yeah, Moongi is done. Sitting at number 2 and number 1 is the fun little combination of Chi-Yu and Flutter Mane. The only difference here is that Flutter Mane is used about 2 times as more as Chi-Yu. 2 times more. Chi-Yu sitting with Heat Wave, Dark Pulse, Protect, and Overheat has that beautiful, beautiful 135 in special attack. Usually running a choice Scarf so that it's fast enough to outpace the Flutter Mane in some cases, or outpace anything that you've got on the other side.
Yeah, base 100 is kind of an awkward speed tier to be at nowadays. Yeah. It's not too fast. It's not too slow. Choice Scarf helps you helps put you in a better place. Helps you outspeed the Chen Pows that you can actually hit with a fire type move before they hit you.
Totally.
Yeah, Chi-Yu's that's the one I have the most practice with because it's on the team that I'm using a lot. It's so noticeable how big of a difference it does. Sometimes I think that by using Ting-Lu, I don't notice how much damage I'm mitigating, but with Chi-Yu, you notice how much damage you're doing. It's a big difference. And hey, Chi-Yu, albeit not a counter to Ting-Lu, it's nice to have on your team in order to just counteract the Ting-Lu trying to slow you down.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then a fun little partner for that is Flutter Mane, sitting at that beautiful, beautiful 135 for special attack, special defense, and speed. It's important to note that although Flutter Mane has 55 base stats and HP, if you're hitting it with a special defense, special attack move, and you're expecting it to knock it out because you're so used to how frail Flutter Mane is, it might, but it's highly likely that it can live at least one special attack move. Defense, though, this thing can't take a sucker punch to save its life.
Nope, not well.
Nope.
The other thing that it's worth mentioning, remember we were saying about the 135 stat? Flutter Mane has 3 of those.
Yeah, right?
They gave it 3 135 stats. And again, choice specs at nearly half of the Flutter Manes that you see online currently. It's just damage dealy Flutter Mane is taking over again. And Chi-Yu is its partner in crime.
That's right. You just try and blow up one Pokemon. It looks like most people are running Shadow Ball and Moonblast above everything else, rather than going for like Terra Fairy, Dazzling Gleams, to try and, do as much damage to both of the Pokemon as possible. Now you just Shadow Ball or Moonblast. Really make sure that you hit hard, so that you can only be facing one Pokemon. It's interesting, but 2v1. It's a pretty nice place to be in.
It's crazy how much Regulation C changes with the addition of only 4 Pokemon. Kind of gets me excited for when home drops, because then we're getting the addition of a lot more than 4 Pokemon.
Oh, yeah.
I want to see what that's going to be like. It's going to be an exciting time.
It's entirely because of terrestrialization. This gimmick is the glue that holds Scarlet and Violet together. If we were in Dynamax meta and something like this came out, it would not change nearly as much.
I can't wait to double Ting-Lu's health.
Yeah. Because the gimmick was stronger than the Pokemon.
Yeah.
In this case, the Pokemon are always stronger than the gimmick.
That's a good way of looking at it.
Thank you.
I like that.
Thank you.
Also, Can we talk about what the reason Dondozo has 14% usage and Tatsugiri has 13% usage? Like, what's that 1% doing?
Fissure.
Fissure Dozo,
man. Like, I don't know what to tell you. It's a good thing now, apparently. With that, let's move on to Fort Wayne regionals. Fort Wayne happened April 1st and 2nd, 2023. 535 Masters level players at this one.
And it did sell out too, I believe.
Yeah. So the thing with these regionals is they are hitting capacity, and they have been hitting capacity since like the end of Sword and Shield as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, this is just
more people than
how much the venue can take.
Yeah, this is more people than the last international championships in Sword and Shield. I think we only had like 400 and something Masters.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, Internet's only had like 4 something
at Ohio.
Yeah,
dude, this year's gonna be insane.
That's why I'm saying you better refresh.
Oh wow,
you don't have to refresh.
Thankfully, we're not doing Reg C for that one.
Yeah,
it's going to be home, right?
No, we are.
Oh,
no.
we are?
Oh, there might be home, but it is Reg C. It's the last day of Reg C.
No. So this is the one that I'm going to have to know.
You better learn this one, bro. Okay. You got to learn.
Okay. I'm going to be power studying Regulation C. I can't start Smogon yet. Sorry, folks. Can't start singles just yet. Let's wait until summer's over. Yeah, Fort Wayne happened. It was very interesting to see what happens when you have a tournament on like the first day of a new regulation.
People were really safe with their teams.
so safe. Okay. Out of the top 8, 7 of them ran Flutter Mane. Flutter Mane was on 7 of the 8 teams, my friends.
It's a good Pokemon.
It's a good Pokemon. Amoonguss was sitting at 5 of 8 uses.
And the top 8. And the top 5.
Yeah. The top 5.
If you had an Amoonguss, you got top 5. Congratulations.
That's right. Wonderful. Congrats. Yeah. But that's only the Flutter Mane and Amoonguss from the top 8. Flutter Mane and Amoonguss was all over the place, and even, top 128. Just scrolling through that, it's like just Flutter Mane City. Ting Lu is also there in droves. And let's get into Ting Lu a little bit. 4 out of the 8 were using Ting Lu. Not the top 2, but everything from 3 to 6.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people expected things like Chi-Yu and Chen Pao to do well, and they did. But I feel like when it came to Ting Lu, a lot of the times this whole, hey, I'm going to sit here, click fissure until you can't stop me, felt like a little bit of a meme until it turned out not to be. There were, not every Ting Lu in top 8 ran fissure, but some of them did. And most notably, Fiona's Ting Lu did.
Mm-hmm.
And it hit 4 out of 5 fissures in one of her games on stream.
Amazing.
I love it. I'm here
The whole idea with Ting Lu, and I've explained this in a recent video on the YouTube channel as well, but if you're running a Ting Lu with specifically these 2, fissure and stomping tantrum, okay? Consider that one Ting Lu has a base attack stat of 110, so it's already doing quite a bit of damage. If you miss that fissure, that's the worst case scenario, right?
70%
You've missed your
chance.
fissure. Oh no, 70% chance to miss. Stomping tantrum doubles in damage if you miss an attack on that first hit. So if you go in stomping tantrum, it's like you've just used 2 stomping tantrums in a row.
So just to give you an idea what stomping tantrum is, it's a 75 pace ground move that now gets doubled, and then when you add stab to it, it's over base 200 damage.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah. And then if you just want to do straight up damage, ruination.
And then if you hit the fissure, which is best case scenario, you kill a Pokemon. It's gone. It's away. Next.
Right. So it's a very good Pokemon is what I'm saying. We're going to be seeing it for quite a while. What was that you were saying though, that people are doing some things to counteract fissure specifically on Ting Lu, and it's kind of weird.
There was a couple things. A lot of them is just sticking Flying Terror on the most random Pokemon.
Sure.
Just say, hey, you can't, good luck. Or you can minimize against it.
Right. That's what people are doing.
I think one minimize is all you realistically should need to avoid a fissure. I hope. I know fissure, the way that fissure works and the way that one hit KO moves work is that they can't get boosted by evasion, like stat raises. Or I guess is that evasion? That's still a stat called evasion. I don't know if that works the opposite way too. Like if you can increase your own evasion to avoid the moves more. I think that's fine.
I had to go and look it up myself. The actual definition here says the evasion rate or evasiveness of a Pokemon determines its probability of avoiding other Pokemon's moves. I know this, yes. Initial value at the start of any battle is 100%. If a Pokemon's evasiveness is reduced below 100%, with a move such as Sweet Scent or Defog, other Pokemon will have a better chance of hitting. It doesn't give you the math. If evasiveness is increased above 100% with moves such as Double Team, other Pokemon will have a harder time. Yes, I know this.
No, I think you should look at what one-hit KO moves, because I think they have a special mechanic. Like No Guard still works with one-hit KO moves, but you can't defog and then go for a fissure. It won't increase the accuracy.
You can't defog and then go for the fissure if the Pokemon is what? What are you defogging?
Well, defog
like you can't decrease their. I see. Right, that is true. Yes, so one hit moves only become sure hit moves if the ability is no guard or
if you somehow manage to get no guard on them, but you got to do that through very convoluted means because Pokemon try to not make that easy to do.
It never consistently works.
Yeah, or lock on or something like that also works.
Exactly. It's been a whole thing and it just doesn't work. Don't try it.
One hit KO moves Pokemon. Let's see if something happens here. Oh, that's a lot of words. I give up.
A one hit knockout move here. Accuracy mechanics. OHKO moves automatically fail if the target has a higher level than the user. Interesting. Their accuracy starts at 30% and decreases by 1% for each level the user is above the target. I didn't know that's how that worked.
Oh yeah, that's so this is OP in like level 100 to not level 100.
Yeah, if you are 70 levels above, your fissures will always hit.
GG, good luck.
Oh, that's what happened. Is just Fiona's Pokemon were 50 levels above. That must have been it.
That must be it.
Accuracy and evasion stats no longer influence the move's accuracy, including modifiers that do not use stages, such as gravity, wide lens, and compound eyes. So those three that I just mentioned do not work with fissure. Effects that allow moves to always hit, such as no guard, lock on, but not telekinesis, still work on OHKO moves.
The game doesn't know what to do with these things, man. They don't. It's over.
Interesting. Since Generation 7, the accuracy of Sheer Cold starts at 20% instead if the user is not an ice type. In addition, all OHKO moves now display their accuracy as 30% instead of --, although the calculation remains unchanged, except for Sheer Cold by a non-ice type.
Are there Pokemon that learn Sheer Cold that aren't ice types?
That's a very good
question. Kyogre is the only one.
Suicune can. I wish that were true.
No, I don't think it can. It's not on this list. I guess Smeargle can, in theory.
Yeah, I guess so.
In theory.
Metronome. Oh, it's by event. You know why? In Gen 4, there was an event for...
oh, look at this singles brain coming out here. You see that? That's a singles brain.
That's that, yeah. Yeah.
I swear I saw a Suicune use Sheer Cold once in my life.
So sure. Yeah, Suicune could use Sheer Cold, man. But yeah, that is Ting Lu in Fort Wayne, and we're going to see it a lot more, and I'm so curious how much Ting Lu we're going to see in this weekend's global challenge. Did Fort Wayne influence the rest of the world?
Also, congrats Justin Tang for taking your second regional win this year.
It's amazing.
And the last time he won a regional, it was his first regional.
He won his first regional. That was in Knoxville back in February 25th.
Mm-hmm.
And now just like a month and change later, he comes into Fort Wayne, destroys the competition there as well, goes 12-2 in Swiss. Looks like some people were actually able to take some games off of him again. But ended up with a very solid win, with a very solid team. This is a team that I look at and I say, yeah, that makes sense that won.
I like that he went with Dragapult too, because I feel like Dragapult is a Pokemon that we didn't mention all day today, but is like so sleeper next to Chanpao. Dragon Terra, Dragon Darts with a Choice Band does ridiculous damage next to a Chanpao. And like, you know, it's not even on Peakalytics, not even within the top 10. And here it is winning a tournament. The only Dragapult in Top Cut. Another thing worth mentioning is that Justin Tang is 2-3 for tournaments. He has attended 3 regionals and has won 2 of them in his life.
Yeah.
That's
amazing.
Nuts.
It's amazing among like hundreds of people. Twice.
Also, big ups to Joe UX9. Second time in second place in like the span of a week. It's not easy to get second place.
No, it is not.
And sometimes it's a little bit unfortunate what happens
completely
to
different
Joe on
temperament.
stream. Yeah, it's a little unfortunate what happens to Joe on stream. But nevertheless, I mean, just to show you how difficult it is and how good of a player Joe is and how consistent Joe is, even though he hasn't won a regional this year, he's still number 2 in CP in all of North America. Good player.
Pretty nuts. Wow. Let's talk about Justin's team because we started that, and then we'll go into Joseph's team, Joe's team. As Kevin said, he did run a Dragapult, but he also ran an Amoonguss, Chenpao, Arcanine, Flutter Mane, and Palafin. So there again is that Palafin that just knows what it wants, is what it does. Mystic Water, Terra-type Water, Wave Crash, Jet Punch, Haze Protect. That's all you need. Just water damage from your Palafin.
Yeah, it hurts.
It hurts. And then again with the Flutter Mane, you've got Moonblast, Shadow Ball, Dazzling Gleam with booster energy. Like it just does the things well, but this one didn't do it with a Chi-Yu. They figured that, you know what, Flutter Mane's good enough on its own. Don't need to run the supporter for it.
I guess you also have to figure your opponents could run the Chi-Yu, right? It's like, okay, do I really need to bring my own? Not necessarily. And also, if you bring Chi-Yu, you're doubling up on fire types next to the Arcanine. I guess Arcanine is just such a staple for this team. Also, speaking of Arcanine, Flying Terror on the Arcanine, dodging those Ting-Loos, baby. You can't fissure me. I'ma burn you.
We're going to see a lot more balloons on Arcanines very soon. Okay. Yeah. And let's talk about Joe's team, right? We've also got the Flutter Mane, the Amoonguss, but we've got Joe's, for whatever reason, I associate Joe with a Talonflame now.
That's just the Joe Pokemon.
I feel like he's brought it a lot of times.
See, I'm different. I associate King Gambit with Joe.
Oh,
I don't know why.
Okay.
Because I feel like he's brought a lot of King Gambit lately too.
You know what? Scrolling through some of them, I'm seeing Charlotte. He brought a King Gambit and not a Talonflame. Lost to a Talonflame, in fact. Yeah, and then Fort Wayne, that was the only time he brought it. So yeah, okay. I'll secede. King Gambit.
King Gambit.
King Gambit, Talonflame, Iron Bundle, and Garchomp.
Want me to mention something about his team that you haven't noticed yet? No ruinous Pokemon on Joe's team.
Not a single one. He's playing basically Series 2.
Didn't need it. And you know, it's crazy. Joe also won first place in the same Nino Pokebros ladder tour for Regulation C that I competed in. Got top 10, by the way. That's what I did this week.
Hey.
Joe got number 1. So with no ruinous Pokemon. So, I mean, that's just goes to show that, hey, you don't necessarily need them. They're nice to have. Sure, we're all playing with our fresh new toys, but the odds are your opponent is going to have them.
Mm-hmm.
So do you need them? The same effect is going to happen if one has them or the other doesn't have them. You're still going to do more damage with your Garchomp if the Chenpao is on their side of the field.
Yeah.
But also, speaking of Garchomp, welcome. Where have you been?
Yeah.
Welcome back. Like, where's Great Tusk here? I guess no one needs Great. I mean, I think the reason why Great Tusk kind of took a step back is that we were just introduced to a bunch of Pokemon like Chenpao and like Chi-Yu that are just faster than Great Tusk and can Oko Great Tusk both in their own special way.
Yeah.
So Garchomp just allows you to be a faster Great Tusk.
Yeah, you kind of eliminated the need to or the ability to put a Focus Sash on another Pokemon. Like, you can't put a Focus Sash on a Great Tusk because you need it for one of those other Pokemon. With Flutter Mane having such high percentage now, like Flutter Manes eat Great Tusks for breakfast. Like,
yeah,
just day and night.
And then the Garchomp with the Fire Terror makes a lot of sense. It's great against the Chenpao. It's great against the Flutter Manes. Mm-hmm. Having Earthquake and Stomping Tantrum gives you a lot of options also if you want to do damage or just have that spread damage. And also the thing with Garchomp, because a lot of Great Tusks have been running Choice Scarf for the beginning of this metagame just to try to keep up. Joe just bypassed that all. Like, why am I going to limit myself to Choice Scarf when I could just have a better Pokemon that is faster?
Right.
Makes a lot of sense.
I've got to give more props to Terastallization. I'm going to be singing the Terastallization praise probably until the end of Scarlet and Violet.
For 2 more years.
For 2 more years. Yeah, exactly. The cool thing that I'm finding about terrestrialization here is that when you oh no, I lost it.
No, there's nothing cool about it, folks. It's awful.
The cool thing about terrestrialization is that you can look back at a match like this at a top 8. You can plot out pretty much how everything went and why one team won over the other. Mm-hmm. Like using Terra types, involving that in your calculations, in your dissertations of why this worked and why this didn't work. Like looking at Justin Tang's whole team, looking at Joseph's team, I only see intentional Pokemon.
Oh yeah.
Like you look at the Dragonite, you look at the Terra type Steel, and you're like, okay, so that is there specifically for the Flutter Mane epidemic that we've got going on. If they send out a Flutter Mane, you terrestrialize your Dragapult, and suddenly you're not caught with a Dragon Pokemon across from Flutter Mane. Right? Versus, I think what a lot of people struggle with is they'll go in with kind of random willy-nilly Terra types on their Pokemon, and when they need it to work, it doesn't work because they chose the wrong one.
Yeah.
So choosing the way that you think that the tournament will end up with your Terra types is so key.
You got to know your matchups and how to play them. There's always, I think, something worth mentioning is watching Fiona's match and then afterwards Fiona's interview when she won. I don't remember what the exact question was, but Fiona was mentioning how she just had a losing matchup. She knew that she had a losing matchup, and the only way she was going to win that matchup was to click Fissure. She legitimately said that. Like, that is my win condition, and I clicked it. Like, that's it. And it just so happened to work.
Sometimes it wins you tournaments. Sometimes you walk away with $1,000 because of fissures.
And I'm sure like those are probably the 4 times she hit it that whole tournament. Like we just got very lucky seeing it on stream.
We were blessed to see that. Yes.
But it's just funny that it happened that way. We're talking a lot about Fiona's team. Fiona was running a Baxcalibur with Chiyu, Gyarados, Tinglu, Amoonguss, and Flutter Mane, for those that are curious.
There you go. Very, very fun team. Very interesting regionals. And now we get, is that no other regionals for the rest of time until we go to May?
There was also Sydney that same weekend.
Sydney.
But it looks like we're gonna have a little bit of a regional break, at least in North America.
Right.
We
have the Nationals this weekend, but apart from that, the next time we're seeing people is
what about Portland?
Beginning of May.
Isn't Portland sometime soon?
Portland is 6th and 7th of May.
Oh, that's
what started this whole thing for me. I was like, whoa, the next one is a month later? Wow. We've been having them like every week, every 2 weeks for a while.
Also worth mentioning, if you guys are thinking about going to regionals, April 4th was signups for Hartford, which was yesterday for you guys. It might still be open, so check out Overload events if you're planning on signing up for the Hartford Connecticut regionals. And also Milwaukee, Wisconsin will be April 6th signups, also at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. That's hosted by Day 2 events. So keep your eyes out for that if you're interested in attending your regionals.
And I know we will too.
Yeah, I think those are 2 that we're going to. So
those are 2.
If you just want to look at our faces in person, you can do that too.
Yeah, we're going to compete in both of those. We're going to go to Hartford, Milwaukee, and Ohio for nationals.
NAIC, yeah.
I was not previously going to be going to nationals, but I needed to.
I didn't have my emotional support Canadian. I was scared.
I'll be there. I'll be there for you, bud.
Thank you.
Pierre, you'll never have to go to a regionals without me again.
Yes. Hey.
Yeah. Hartford's going to be fun. I'm going to fly over to you and we're going to drive over together.
Yeah. Road trip.
We get
to eat, you get to feed me French fries while I drive.
I'm so curious about the burger joints, like heading toward Connecticut.
You're going to see like a Shake Shack. And you're just like, can we stop there?
We're getting a Shake Shack.
Congratulations.
It's happening.
You are becoming American slowly.
Yeah. first we got Five Guys, and then Canada was like, whoa, give me another one. I think we got everything except for the Ditto raid. If you want to take some breaks in between your online national global tournament, you can go and fight a little globule.
Oh my goodness, this is a Ditto.
It's a Ditto with different Terra types.
Also, it is guaranteed to have 5 stats with 31 IVs. So if you don't have a competitive Ditto yet, it's a great opportunity to get one 6 months after the game came out. Thanks, Game
Some
Freak.
people don't. Some people don't.
Yeah.
I don't knock them for that.
I'm just surprised they didn't give this to us sooner. Like, let us play competitive, please. Help us.
Yeah.
I don't want to buy my Ditto from eBay.
Right. At least before the regional circuit began.
Exactly,
nice.
right?
Yeah. They're like, oh, we're gearing people up to go and play.
No.
Give us that. But still, this is all like, prepare for Worlds. That's where we're going to really show your stuff.
But here's the thing. To get to Worlds, we need to be prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you not still participate in like side events and stuff?
At Worlds, you can. Worlds actually on day 2 has the first regional of the next season is also performed at Worlds. So that's a great opportunity to get CP before the actual, season starts. And you get like international level CP. It's not a regional technically. So there's just more CP per player.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting time. And in the meantime, we, of course, still have tons of stuff coming out every single day. You can go and check out the Pokésports YouTube channel at youtube.com/Pokésports to see all of the different stuff that we put out. I recently put out an April Fool's video that was, in my opinion, very, very fun.
You'll know which one it is.
Go and you'll know.
Look at the thumbnails, you'll know which one it is.
A lot of people were saying too that like, oh, that looks like the Chen Pao and Showdown. I did not see it.
Oops.
I drew that one all by myself.
At least you could be a Showdown.
It's like people were asking for the Sprite. They're like, oh, where'd you get the Sprite? I'm like,
what are you talking about?
Paint.
I made this. You should make it an NFT.
No thanks. Where else can people find us? What else are you doing this week?
We got the Liege. No, you just set up the Liege, man.
Of course.
Sign up for the Liege. Patreon.com/Pokésports.
That's right. That's going to be starting next Saturday, April 13th through 16th. It's going to be a very, very short one. Usually we have them spanning off the whole month. Then last month we tried having it just, 2 weekends.
It's a mini-age.
And this one, you know what? We're just like, let's bang the whole thing out in a weekend. Let's get it going. And that way we can have a second one. So not only are you getting double the bang for your buck on Patreon right now, patreon.com/Pokésports, but you can also see the Preach where we talk about just kind of stuff. That's our banter time, getting ready for things. We talked about
Mike making a studio.
Yeah, Kevin changed my whole perspective on moving in the Preach today. So
it's a very eventful Preach.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and listening, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.